on to the next video, day 7. So back to GeoGebra, and what we did in the last video was we created this bar graph called the frequency spectrum, and gives us just a different picture of our data. Now what we're going to do is come back to the algebra view. Now the set of commands, just sort of a caveat, I guess, up front, that this day 7, there's a lot of commands that may not make a whole lot of sense at the beginning. But as we get later in the project, we'll be using these commands and they will make more sense. So I guess I'm just saying trust me on the commands for now. I'll just tell you how to type them in, and I'll do my best to explain the basics. So the first thing we want to do is scroll up to L3, which you're going to see these 3 dots. And if we click those, we're going to do a duplicate. Just because we need to type in something. Actually, see, they appeared right here. It's basically all of these points in a different graph, but this graph is compressed, so it looks different. But the idea is we're going to modify this. We could just have typed the whole thing out again, but it's similar to what we had before, so I figured just copy it. So that's our copy. We're going to give this a new name. Okay, so rename. You right-click in here, get a list, rename. I'm going to call this LPOS, list positive. So this is going to represent the positive frequency values. Okay, so what we have is L positive equals all of this. All right. The other thing we're going to do is create a new variable called positive POS FREQ. We'll call it POS FREQ positive frequency equals, for now we'll just type 1, enter. It makes a slider. We're going to set that to something else in a minute. So that's a positive frequency. What we're going to do is use that variable up here. And we're also going to create another line here. We're going to duplicate this again. Okay, so what we had is L positive, duplicate, and it comes down here, and we'd like to rename that as well. And we're going to call this one L negative. L negative, we'll just say L neg equals all of this. Okay. We're going to be modifying the exponent up here, and we're going to modify the exponent over here. So the L positive, the L negative will be changing some things. Basically, this F value, we're going to type in, replace that F with L, with rather POS FREQ, positive frequency. Okay, so the L positive list right here, we change the F to POS FREQ, which is a value. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is going to create a variable called negative frequency. Negative frequency equals, in this case, we're going to type N minus positive frequency, and that's it, and just enter. So my frequency is at 86 right now. Okay, N minus 1. Was it at 1? Yeah, because N is 87. So here we go. Next, we're going to type in negative frequency on the L neg right here. Okay, so these commands, do they switch in place? Looks like they did. Interesting. Okay, so over here where it says L negative, this list negative, replace the F, just like we did with other command line. We are going to put in negfreq. Okay. So let's see. Let's take a look at what we've got. Everything looks good. I got a lot of points in here, so we don't need to show these. I'm going to just hide them. They appeared in this graphics window. We're not really interested in showing those the way we did over here. We're going to use these lists for something else. All right. So the next thing we want to do is make a new slider. So we're going to come over here to the slider pull down, and somewhere maybe right underneath the F slider, I'm clicking in that space. Now this time we're going to be putting in an angle. Wait a minute. Let's make sure our settings, you know, like our calculators have to be in the right mode. Same thing here. We want to be in the right mode, radian or degree mode. We want to be in radian mode. Settings. So come down here. Where is it? There. Come down here. One of these. Here it is. So it's this icon with looks like a sine wave. So we're going to click here, radians. Okay, it's just a setting. We want our operations to be done in radian mode, basically. Okay, so frequency slider started for some reason. Okay, so what we're going to do, I changed the bar graph down there, but we can hide that. That's not important right now. So we're going to come back here. Oh, we're going to do a slider. That's right. So slider here. And now we can do this angle. Now we want to go see it says radians because we just set it as radians. Now 6.28318, that's 2 pi, right? 2 times 3.14. So it puts it in automatically. It defaults to that. This value, I'm not sure what it's defaulting to, but we want to set that ourselves to, let's see. Let me think. 2 times pi divided by n. So we can delete that, whatever it was. 2. Shift 8 gives me a times. You can type pi. It recognizes that as pi. Divided by capital N. Oh. Now it's got this Greek letter. Alpha equals. Now it goes up to 6.28. Okay. Let's rename that to t. It's going to represent time. That's why we're using t. Okay. So we have our time slider, which is a variable that we're going to be needing. We're now getting into the part of the project where we're setting it up to recreate our initial curve, in my case, the squirrel curve, by using circles built upon each other, all with different radius values and all with different starting angles, basically. And some of them will be turning clockwise and some will be turning counterclockwise, which is why we built these lists here. Okay. So let's see. The next thing we can do is I'm going to type in a new point, b equals parentheses mean parentheses x l EOS, right? We have 2 closed parentheses right there. Now we put a comma right before this last parentheses here. We put a comma, and then we're going to type mean again. Well, mean. Y of parentheses L positive. Okay. Enter. And it's up here. So this is creating a point, 1.43, negative 0.31. Okay. We're going to create a point from the lists that we've just created. See this 2.43? Let's see. L positive. Where's the list? Things got reordered here. L negative. Not sure where the L positive went. Sometimes GeoGebra has mine. There it is. 2.43.76. But we're taking the mean of the list. So it's not that first value. I was thinking it was the first value. It's the mean of all X values in that list, and it's the mean of all the Y values in that list. So we're going to do that. Now we're going to do it again for the negative list, LNeg, right here. So that command is similar. It's capital E equals parentheses mean parentheses X. Now we're going to type in L neg, to close, then comma. Type it again, mean parentheses Y, open parentheses, L neg, close, 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 enter. And it's right here. Okay, so we have our 2 points, L positive, L negative, and that is where day 7 video ended. So it's a bunch of commands that don't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll hopefully make sense of it as we go forward with the project. Okay, so stay tuned till the next video. Close this one down.